All right, hello, I'm back. Really was enjoying this, so I got the work done I need to get done, so I can go ahead and play some more. So let's continue working here on the new aircraft. What is this message? Go away, please. Thanks. All right, good. Let me just finish setting up the vidya. So yeah, so this is getting me really interested in both building again and working on the add-on. So that's a good thing. All right, very good. All right, let's get moving again. All righty. So earlier, worked on the airplane some, and that's getting me more and more interested in the add-on. I was kind of add-on was kind of sitting here just trying to work this add-on and really have nothing to show for it. So as far as I needed an airplane, so started working on the airplane. That's helped me get interested in the in doing it. So let's go ahead and continue. Like to get the airplane up in the air. This is going to also help with testing of the add-on. So. All right, so there's some flap. Some more flap. Flaps do work in game. How's it going there, Jay? How are you? Good to see you. See if I like this angle or not. Trying to decide if I want tip tanks. I'm leaning towards no on tip tanks. How's it going there, Cheesecake Slice? How are ya? Alright, good, good, good. Alright, that's pretty good. I'm happy with those wings so far. Let's see if this spotlight goes up fine with that on the gear like this. Yep, no problems with that. The other option is raising the strut a little bit and putting a spot on the bottom, which I might actually prefer. I'm probably going to prefer that. Yeah. Go ahead and do that. All right, let's go like this. All right, there's those lights there. Oh my god, click the right color, you scoundrel. Oh, symmetry. Yes, thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's coming along nicely. Got me excited to play again, which is good. So for those who are not watching earlier, we got cargo. This and all the cargo that comes in here is nice. Treat the door differently. Let's go ahead and not screw that too much there. Let's come in here and screw with this. All right. All right, that looks good. Let's see. Yeah, I'm building a. It's a passenger and cargo add-on. So hopefully wrap that up somewhat soon, and then get it out. All right, let's grab. I should have a door. Let's see, one of them's composite. There we go. Okay, that's good. That's the new one then. Starting to finally get caught up with all the stacking. See if this will work with a multiplier that's reasonable. All right, so I put a speed multiplier on this too, so this is going to make it easier to, from the outside, I can change the speed of the doors. I don't have to go in and use the up-down counter, but the problem is, yeah, it seems to be doing all right. If you close it right away, it's going to have a delay, but that's about it. All right. All right, so that'll turn on the lights. It's up at the door now. Okay, I see what it's doing. The multiplier multiplier's not really working well. Cause say this goes up to you know, it's at 0.5. If it's 2, this is still counting up. So that multiplier's not going to work really well. Yeah. Take that out for now. This isn't gonna work, but I want to play with it. I wish we could use rope logic to make at least fake hydraulics would be cool. The problem is that's too bulky, but that looks pretty cool. I like it. It's just very bulky. I like it a lot. It's just very bulky. I like it a lot. Let's see if we can keep it. I'm trying to see what I can do here. Okay. Trying to think of the geometry here. That's really in the way there. That's gonna probably be too squished. You can see it trying to move a little bit. See how it's trying to move to the left? That's the phantom force of that pushing. So again, this is where people like Bugworks. It's like, no, man, you got a phantom force going on. Kind of sad when I went to this door. For now, let's get off of it. Now let's change the door up a little bit here. Yeah, the door's wrong. So I'm trying to decide if I want to put an auto loading feature in here. I'll have to figure it out later. Probably hook the pivot up, huh? Probably help. Nope. That's either negative 101. Negative 85. Negative 85. Negative 83 rather. Negative 0.83. Alright, starts open. Probably make it faster than that. Alright, good. Get that done. That's gear. The gear is doing pretty well. Alright, I want to get this thing up and running. So let's start working with plumbing in the engine. So right now we got, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 12s. If we made it, we could make it 24s. Don't need them that big as part of the thing. So what do I got? I've got 12s in there. So let's make them... God, God damn. Let's get a symmetry in here. Let's do that. Make them more compact because I got to put radiators and all sorts of other stuff in here. All right, there's a radiator. Got our cooling done. How's it going there, Amanda? How are you? Thank you much on 31 months. Let's put you in the recognition channel and catch up on your chat, yeah? Very nice, very nice. Appreciate it there, Amanda. Let's read some chat here. How's it going there, Amanda? Good to see you. Let's do this real quick. Let's do a constant number of 1 and make sure these don't clip. Yeah, they clip a little bit. I don't like that. Shit. So I'm building an add-on, and it's a passenger and cargo add-on. And so this is one of the aircraft that I'm going to use, especially for testing. And so the add-on allows you to do passengers and cargo. So there's a cargo door. So with the add-on, you can spawn cargo pallets and they get delivered for money. And with the passengers, you spawn the passengers and you take them from point A to point B for money. So. All right, let's save this real quick. What do I have? What did I say? 1844, 1844. I just saved this, so let's save over it again. Making all VTOLs lately. Okay, so this is using the stuff from there. So CBSC plane. Let's work with that, and then. So I'm trying to make more module stuff. So I bring in like piston single, piston twin, and then bring in the plane. Or bring in all the microcontrollers. So I got to get onto that. But this was the career build series. This is probably the most recent recip I've built. And then I want to play with these. Yeah, this has the same panels as that had, so. I'll end up reinventing the wheel quite a bit here, but trying to get this set up where I have all this done. I don't have to keep redoing it, but I want to get something going. I want to get it running. And then the problem is like going and doing standardization passes and making modules. So essentially what I would do is when I want to make a piston single, a piston twin like this, pretty much just like load in all of the panels and then connect them. And so I've been trying to do that more and more, but it's a pain in the ass to start, you know? Because you have to like, you don't get to go, you have to spend the time. Shit, all right. I copied it, I didn't cut it. So that becomes quite a pain in the ass to do, so. And then with the new stackable nodes, I have a lot of shit a lot of, you know, microcontrollers that need to be miniaturized, so I need to go in and do a miniaturization pass because they can be shrunk down. All right, let's start working on this. Roll to gyro. All right. Pitch. Because once I have like these modules, it makes it so much faster to do this shit. Let's see which one's aileron's up. It's hollow. And this one should be the other way. have flaps here. Flaps. All right, good. So this is a thing where it's super daunting when you first start because like you don't have all this stuff. You can't grab from another build and just keep moving. You gotta kind of screw around, and God, it's tough. It really is. Props are gonna be a mess just because they're backwards, but I can fix that later. I'm gonna put my new panel set in there. Nice thing is to be able to just cut these out. Makes it really easy. I'm gonna redo all the panels and make them more what I want in this, but for now, it's just a huge time saver to do this. So that's what I'm planning on doing. Okay, and this was pretty early days on what it was doing, so let's see what else we got here. Gear is done. All right, so that looks like most of it. Okay, so that looks like most of it should be good to rock and roll with most of this. I gotta start playing with it. All right. So let's not reinvent the wheel here. Let's just get this going. So RPS goes off that crank there. Air, I gotta start plumbing these. Let's start plumbing them up. What do I have in these for just a scoop? Okay. And I forgot I put panels all throughout. Oh shit, let me do this real quick. I gotta get my flight set up for tomorrow. How's it going there, Aaron? How are you? Good to see you. Alright. Let me set my flight up here. I've been forgetting all day to do this. Alright, so that's fuel. We need exhaust. Might do twins underneath, but that's just hooked up for now. Alright. So fuel is getting connected up here. Let's finish connecting the fuel before I forget what I'm doing. All right, so there's the plumbing for fuel. We need a relief valve on the fuels. Now we'll just put it here in the gear well. All right, good. So that's our vents for there. All right, good. Let's continue hooking up. So we got RPS, air. Let's see, fuel. Starter. Master's good there. With prop pitch is connected, but it's going to have to go inverted because they are pusher props. All right, good. Cooling. Alternators. And then composite. And seats. So what we'll do is we'll pull these seats, or seat, huh? All right, good. That's got the seat on it. All right, that looks all connected up properly. Let's start working on the other side. Cooling. I want to get this sucker started is what I want. It's cooling, that's prop pitch, and then that needs to be turned inverted. Brakes are fine, cooling, prop pitch, avionics, starter, fuel, air. Engine right there. Alright, good. That looks pretty good there. Alright, that looks all good there. Let's get these gear ratios set up. Alright, that's good. Add batteries in there. I need to do manifold pieces. Some tutorial stuff I'd like to do, but that stuff takes a ton of time, and want to do it, but I'm just hurting on time for some of the stuff. I can do infinite electricity's fine. I don't really need to hook up the electricity right now, but it's good to see you, Aaron. Haven't seen you in a while. And then let's see, where's my gear? This is the current gear, so let's see. Composite input, there we go. I gotta find out what panel that goes to. Should be this one on the right. What's that? 2. Almost checked in for this friggin' flight. It's taking me forever. All right, good. That's finally done. All right. We might be ready for a start. Here, let's go try. I could run pastures off. That would be fun. We could do that. Let me make sure I can get the sucker started. What else do we need here? Pretty well connected. Flaps, panels, single engine panel there. What's that? Let's give it a look. Let's see what's up. Oh, manifolds. That's what it was. I still haven't done manifolds yet. Still had yet to do manifolds. All right. What's that? 2? 2. Our clutches are definitely not done yet. Let's see what this probably just has a constant number going to the clutches. Let me look. No, let's see. Where's that going to? Right there. Yeah, it's a constant number. Okay, go to the clutches. And then that one is running out of control, which likely means it doesn't have a good composite node. It's hooked up, so. Could be because it doesn't have any resistance as well. Alright, is the RPM, so likely the RPM isn't getting read, so let's check that. Yeah, RPS isn't getting read, that's all it is, right there. If you understand what the system's doing, this is why, like, when people run right to the workshop, it's fine, like, I get it when you're first learning, but it's like, if you don't understand the why of the thing, you know, you're just gonna get confused. Because it's essentially always reading 0, so it's going to, of course, keep continuing to raise it up. It's a good-looking airplane. So flaps, let's see. Flaps are... do 2 notches of flaps down. I didn't hook up the... steering. Let's do that. Probably shut my door, huh? This has the old autopilot panel in it, so I'll put the new one in. That's backwards, of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? Already flying nicely. So that's a lot of flap, so. So now constant speed propeller will start bringing our props back. So this is where a lot of people, you know, think you go balls to wall. And balls to wall is an aviation term from each of the different levers, the throttles, the props, and the mixtures each had a different ball on them. And so balls to the wall meant you push them all forward. So when you were going around and you needed to really hammer and get out of there, you would push everything forward as fast as you could. So it's balls to the wall, pushing your mixture prop and throttle all the way up. That's pretty good speed. We're doing 160. I wanted to keep this not super fast, and the reason is this is going to be our inexpensive one, and so it has to have some sort of downside for being inexpensive. And the downside is it's not ultra fast. Like that little plane that I have that I've been doing my testing with is faster than this is right now. And so I want some downsides, because what I want to do is I want to be able to retrofit this to have turboprops on it. That's going to make it much faster, but it's going to also make it a lot more expensive to run. So you get to places faster, but the downside is it costs you more money to operate it, you know. So I have flaps in here. I need to put anti-flaps in. So I've talked about them before, but you essentially do fins inside the wings, and they go opposite to the flaps. And so in game, when you put in flaps, they add a lot of extra lift, but they're not adding enough drag. So when you do this, you're getting the extra lift, but you're also adding a lot of drag, and it makes it behave a lot more realistically, because right now I'm going to be super nose down. That's the opposite of what happens when you normally have your flaps down, is your nose up. So I have the props all the way, the lever would be back, and it's increased the blade pitch, as you can see. And that is causing the RPM, or the RPS, to go down. And so that's burning less fuel. Now, as I get ready to come in and land, I'm going to start pushing my props forward. And you'll see they're putting less resistance on, and it's causing me to go faster, but you hear the engine spooling up, which burns more fuel. Let's turn the volume down a little bit. So yes, we can go faster, but we're burning a lot more fuel, and we're gonna heat up our engines. So we want to push them all the way forward to come in and land, and then we're gonna start to slow down. Here comes the pitch up. So like some people probably think this is not realistic. Absolutely it is. Every time I put in flaps, I get a big balloon. And so I'm expecting a big balloon. So I push the nose down and retrim every time I do pitch power configuration. And configuration is flaps. And gear as well. So I'm adding more flaps, so I expect I need a retrim. So now this is going to allow us to get pretty slow. That's too slow. Each airplane is going to have its own, you know, stall characteristics. So 70 was way too slow. And this needs some anti-flap. So this is flyable. This is actually pretty damn flyable. So at 70, I'm losing my aileron effectiveness, so I also want to work on that. And then my steering's backwards, we gotta work on that. So we can actually let's do one of the passenger missions from my add-on. And so, like I was saying, you know, what we'll do is we'll make it so that I'll put turboprops on this later, and that will, why is this being a bitch for steering? I'll put turboprops on this later, and that's going to be much more expensive because the jet fuel's more expensive, but we'll go a lot faster. Like, we might be able to get 200-something knots. We might be able to go, not quite double, I would say, but go quite a bit faster, and, you know, and higher is also part of the game. You know, as part of what would happen in IRL is you can go higher with the turboprop. But, you know, so we'd also, you're going to burn more fuel doing that. I got to spin this around. All right. Do I have a park brake on this? I don't. All right. is problematic without a park brake. Alright, let's do a quick passenger mission. Or actually, I think what I'll do first is let's bring this in and work on it. But I really like the shape. The shape's good. I like the look of it a lot. Alright, let's bring it in the workbench. I need a park brake. Where the hell's the other, there it is. Alright, so that's gone. I need a park brake. Let's just go 6. Park brake. Alright, 6 will be the parking brake there. And then I need to spin this wheel. Alright, good. So that's set. We need anti-flap. So you just want to go opposite, essentially, to the flaps. So if they're up, you want to go down. Let's start with one row of them. See if that works. And again, this is going to give you the proper deck angle. With flaps in, you want nose up. You got a lot more lift and a lot of drag. All right. And so that's your anti-flap, and all you really do is you take the same flap control here. Am I missing one? How did I miss one? Did I not do the whole set? I missed one. Okay, that's why. And then they can be XML'd over just to hide them. All right, good. All right, that looks good. So let's go ahead and hopefully everything works well with this, and we will go ahead and do a quick delivery. I'm not going to do cargo. I'm just going to do passengers right now. All right. All right, let's go ahead and press 6 to turn that on. All right, so we're going to do the add-on here. So we go question mark packs. Nope. Okay. How did my pass? What? No passenger seats detected? All right. Pretty sure I labeled the passenger seats. Oh, was that an earlier? Yeah, it was. Okay, I'd never saved it after that. I don't think I didn't save after that. All right. So this is the naming scheme. There's first, comfort, and economy. And then I'm going to add VIP, I think, as well. All right. I do like it that you can manhandle things in the game like this. Makes it so that you don't have to get out of tug if you don't want to, especially for testing. All right, so we're going to do question mark packs. All right, now I just do a quick print screen. I'll bring up Paint so you can see it, and we'll read through it. I know some of you guys have just came on board here, and so. All right. So here's so this is what happens when I do question mark packs, as you can see. It says current location is Draymoor. The normal travel pool is 30. A max discount travel pool is 75. So for those who weren't here when I explained it before, it's based off the population. So if the population is 3,000, you're going to have, say, or whatever I put it as, I can't remember. You're going to have, I think it's, you're going to have 30 passengers with normal travel. When you discount, do a bunch of discounts, that brings on more economy passengers because they can afford the tickets. So it will be up to 75 passengers in Draymoor are willing to travel. At 1.0, it's 25%. Destinations are O'Neill, Harrison, Tajan, Ender, Clark, FJ. It's a mixture. It's generally based on distance, and there's also demand. You can see how, for example, some of them will have more demand because of the population centers there, but we don't have a lot of passengers here at Draymoor because it's a smaller area. So if we look at Harrison, it's the closest. There's 8 total passengers. 1 for first. We don't have any first class seats. 0 for comfort. And 7 for economy. And so we'll go ahead and we'll take those. Harrison, not only is it the closest, but it's it will fill our economy section. The potential is $2,400. All right. So what we want to do here is going to go question mark, packs, HAR for Harrison. And if you look over here, they've been staged. So there's all our passengers. There's 6 passengers there. All right, so now we're going to do question mark, packs, on. And now they're all on. So if you look there, it says Draymoor to Harrison, 0 for first, 0 for comfort, 6 for economy. There's a total of 6, requested 6, new local passengers 6. Booked revenue due 1,500. All right, so that's what we'll get for this flight. If you look back there, here they are. They're all on board. This is very light compared to Stormlink. You know, I talked all about this earlier today. But it's very light because those passengers aren't really in the world till you put them in the world, and then that's all you have, and you take them with you, so they're with you, so the rest of the map can despawn fine. Alright. Alright, so now we're doing flaps. You notice the fins go opposite to the flaps. That's going to cut down there's too much lift essentially with the flaps, and then that's going to also increase the drag to make it act a little bit more normal or realistic. Yeah, see, that flies much more realistically than like my hands are off right now. See how nicely that flies? It behaves much more realistically. Alright, there goes my gear. Flaps are going up. Let's go over to Harrison. I'm going to start to bring my props back. That's going to start to put more load on my engines, which when I load up my engines, it's going to cause the RPM to go down. And we're taking a bigger bite out of the air, but the RPM's going down, so it's a relationship. So think of prop pitch as a multiplier. So let's say we go full prop pitch, and that's a multiplier of 5. I want to make sure we don't have a problem here. So let's say that's a max multiplier of 5, okay? If we're doing 1 RPS, that means we're doing 5 RPS. If we then go bring the prop pitch down to 1, but we're doing 5 RPS in the engine, it's the same, right? And so let's go push it forward a little bit here. What's going on here? I don't know why we're there we go. All right. I think I just brought the props back too much, and I haven't tuned it yet. So I didn't want this going too fast, too. You see a lot of people like, oh my God, you know, in real life you get to go Mach 10, whatever. But you know, put this perspective, from here to up to here is like 65 nautical miles, right? So it's a very short distance, you know. The map's very small, so this is a pretty reasonable speed for a reciprocating twin prop. You know, you probably get around 200, a little bit more than 200, but somewhere in that neighborhood. The distances are so short. To go like normal speeds, you're just eating up so much distance so quickly, you know, you're just right in the landing. So I'm not really all that in great of a need of that extra speed. All right, so let's start pushing our prop forward. Let's start bringing our thrust back, our throttle back. It's thrust in a jet, and I fly a jet, so it's, I always say thrust, but in the propeller will be throttle. Alright, so let's go ahead and start bringing our full flap, and we'll start putting our gear down. Like, to put this into perspective, like, sometimes I go on a 20-mile final. That's a third of the way to Tajan, is a 20-mile final. And that's what I would do on a normal landing. Sometimes is a 20-mile final. Not really normal, like Chicago's 20-mile final. Like, to put this into perspective compared to real life. Alright. God damn it. So what is it? 1.8 kilometers, say 2 kilometers. So 1.8 kilometers is 0.97 nautical miles. So we're less than a mile final here, which is a short final. You know, I might be out 20 times that IRL. So I'm aiming at the 2 squares. Those are the aiming bars. And I just kind of, like, do you see where I'm putting my cursor right on there? I'm just aiming at the aiming bars. And I'm going to start to, about 20 feet, start to bring the thrust to idle and gently flare. And that's it. You know, that's how you land IRL. It works well in game. You know, I'd probably bring it idle a little bit slower in game, maybe 10. All right, so the deplaning section is right here in the front. I showed earlier on the add-on where it is. So anywhere in front, you're good. I'm going to go ahead and put on the park brake, and I'm going to kill the engines. All right. So now we have our passengers on here, and they're delivered. They're where they're supposed to be. They're in the box. You have to be in the box. So you're going to go question mark, packs, off. Now, we just have passengers for Harrison. If we had passengers for other places, I showed this earlier, they'll be put into a... they'll be put into an area, essentially in virtual memory, so that they're still trying to go to their area. So, for example, let's say I wanted to finish playing, which I'm actually going to probably finish playing. I got to get ready. But if I want to finish playing, I still had, say I picked up passengers at Dremore for both Harrison and O'Neill. And while I'm at Harrison, I could take all the passengers off, and then you'd have passengers who still need to go to O'Neill, and they'd be stored here at Harrison. And then I could take them from Harrison over to O'Neill. Those are the transient passengers. Right now, we just have passengers for Harrison. So if I want to do PAX HAR off, it would just take off the Harrison passengers. It would leave the O'Neill passengers. I could then load up more O'Neill passengers that want to go from Harrison to O'Neill and load more and then fly off to O'Neill. Or I could take them all off. If I have passengers for Harrison, they get delivered, I get money. If there are passengers for O'Neill, they get stored for later. So let's go ahead and actually do this. Go to custom menu, infinite resources off. If we look, we've got $20,000. All right, so I'm going to go question mark packs off. And they just got delivered. So there it goes. Current location, Harrison, offloaded 6, delivered first 0, comfort 0, and then 6 economy. We just earned $1,500. The travel pool at Harrison is now 206. We just added 6 people to the travel pool. So the travel pool used to be 200. We've added 6 more people because these people are now here. So if we just kept taking from Dremore, eventually there'd be no more people willing to travel. We have to start bringing people back and moving them around where they want to go in the system. And we get a virtual revenue of $1,500. If we look, there's our $1,500. So we just made the money in game. Same thing. So let's say we had cargo. Cargo is going to be a physical thing. Cargo is not going to be virtual like the passengers are. Cargo is very much going to be a physical thing. I showed this earlier. I know some of you guys had just arrived. So cargo is going to be a physical thing. It's the same type of system. And what will happen is you'll open up your door, you'll spawn your skid steer or whatever other vehicle you want to use. You'll grab your cargo containers and you'll manually put them in a box, probably over on this side because the passengers spawn there. And you'll drop off your cargo. And then when it gets delivered into the box, you'll get your money for it. Okay? And then you can spawn new cargo, pick the cargo up, physically put it in, and it's going to do the same thing. So this will be a lot of fun. This is really rocking and rolling now. So let's take this back. All right, let me save this. So I'm really enjoying this plane. We got a flight out of it, which is awesome. Showed you how the delivery system works. And And then the cargo is really not that hard to add on the add-on, because what the game does is it looks for the essentially vehicle folders, and those different cargo containers are going to be their own vehicle folders, and it will spawn, randomized cargo for the areas. And what I'm going to do is certain cargo, like fragile cargo, is going to be worth more money, time-sensitive cargo, stuff like that. And you'll be able to go and load up and deliver that. And I also talked about earlier how you'll be able to do buses, you'll be able to do trucks with the pallets, and you'll also be able to move them however you want. So say, for example, right, I have these passengers for O'Neill, or actually, let's say not O'Neill. Okay, so what I'm going to end up adding here to the system is we're going to add more places. So I talked about it earlier, like Holt Town and Fishing Village. Well, Fishing Village and Holt Town do not have their own airport, right? But there's an airport here that splits them. There's also an airport here. So what we could do is I could pick up the passengers for from Draymoor who want to go to Harrison and who want to go to, let's say, O'Neill, and who want to go to Holt Town, and who want to go to Fishing Village. And I could fly, and I could land at Harrison. I could drop off the Harrison passengers. Then I could fly all those people over here, and I could drop off the O'Neill passengers, and the Holt passengers, and the Fishing Village passengers. Then I could spawn a bus. And with the bus, I could then load up my Holt passengers and my Fishing Village passengers. Then I could take the Fishing Village passengers, or the Holt passengers, drop them off here, then continue down the road and drop off the Holt Town passengers. And so this is going to make it so you can move the stuff wherever you want. And say, for example, you can pick up fish, a cargo container of fish here at the Fishing Village, which makes sense. And you could either drive it via truck, or you could put it on a train, and you could bring it to the airfield. Then you could load that stuff on a plane and then take it, say, up to Tajan. So that's kind of the plan with the add-on. But it was great seeing all you guys, especially guys I haven't seen in a while. Good to see Cheesecake. Good to see Jay. Good to see Amanda and Aaron. Thank you guys so much for all the for 31 months there, Amanda. Aaron, let me see. Did I do Aaron recently for a recognition? Yeah, I'll have to do a recognition for Aaron next time you send one. I'll put you in the recognition channel. But thank you guys so much for watching. This is kind of what I'm working on. It's getting me really excited to get back into the game. It's kind of doing some of this type of play that I like to do. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.